Why hello there and welcome to This Is Living. So a lot of requests were from the World of Warcraft channel from you guys that are Marcelian online and how this all began, how me and Flame met and all of that. So we're gonna make this video about the Marcelian online channel, but mostly about me and Flame and how this thing all came together. And you're gonna see two different perspectives, okay? I don't know what he's gonna record, doesn't know what I'm gonna record, so this is probably gonna be pretty fun.
Oh boy, how I met Marcelian. Well, that's a story that goes back a couple of years ago, and I know he might have already said something that I don't really recall. Like, I'm not really sure if that's what happens.
It was 2015, I believe. I was working as a manager at a big-ass company, and I think I could say it, right? It was for Microsoft on the Xbox division, right? And that year, we had a bunch of new hires, and among them, well, at the time, hold on, let me make a correction. At the time, I wasn't a team manager. Yeah, I was a coach to a team, right? So at that time, we had a bunch of new hires, and among the new hires was Mr. Flame. And I gotta tell this story. He doesn't remember it, but I remember vividly because it was him. So meeting him at the time, because I was like on the floor over there welcoming everybody. Hey, what up, welcome to the team, blah, blah, blah. And you know, him as a new hire with his colleagues were, you know, super tied up and shit because it was the first time on the floor and stuff like that. So I was trying to, you know, make it a bit more cheerful, you know, make him relax, you know, join in the vibe. So I meet everybody up, you know, I say, hey, I'm him, welcome, blah, blah, blah. And then it comes to him. And when I first talked to him, it was the most awkward thing ever, because it was like, hey man, nice to meet you. And his reply was weird enough. And mind you, this was the first time we ever met, right? But his reply was, oh, I hope this is the last time we ever meet. And he had, you know, it was his weird sense of humor or something, because he laughed, you know, but I was like, okay, nice attitude to start with, dude. And I just ignored it after that. He was really, really weird and awkward as fuck. And I didn't make too much out of it, you know, because I met way weirder people in that job, but it stuck into my mind that, hey man, that dude is pretty weird. Anyways, moving for a couple of months, at some point he approached me.
But essentially, we were working in the same company. It was a tech support department for Xbox. We were outsourced to Microsoft. He was a supervisor of a different team because we were like structured into teams at the time. And my coach pointed me towards him because he had a Grand Theft Auto 5 Xbox game that he was selling. He was selling basically his copy, and I had my 360. I wanted to play GTA 5. I wanted to see how it is, and yep, I went to him. I bought the game. That's the first thing that I remember that I physically not physically, you know, but interacted with him.
At some point, he approached me on, I think it was GTA 5 on Xbox 360. I remember I sold that to him, and basically, he was in a team where he was not in my team, but he was in a team that had a coach which was a really good friend of mine, right? So we talked about, you know, people from our teams and stuff like that, and this coach of his mentioned him, hey man, there's this dude Soren in my team that, you know, is like super gamer and he likes all this geeky stuff and shit like that. I was like, cool, didn't make nothing out of it.
Apart from that, I always found him like a really quirky person, because he had this, I would say, unusual way of approaching people. Like he would come to guys and say, hey, what's up, dog? Like using kind of like ghetto language, slang, something like that. And he would talk to girls like, hey, what's up, bitch? Right? But like kind of in an endearing way. So it was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of fun, but it was a little bit weird, right? Because nobody had those personality quirks, or maybe nobody in my, you know, entourage, my general friends group, I would say. But over the course of the month, he also became my supervisor eventually, and we started talking about nerdy stuff like games, and we realized we were both into Blizzard games, and mostly WoW, Hearthstone, and Heroes of the Storm, right? That's what we started to get into. We would gather like a lot of colleagues from work. We would gather and do Hearthstone tournaments. It was really fun at the time, before Hearthstone became like a big money sink for us, which was no longer doable. Played a lot of Diablo, and most of all started to play Heroes of the Storm together. And at one point, I think it was I think it was either December or January a year later, so that would have been 2015, 2016 if I remember correctly.
Right, so moving a little bit forward, in 2016 I've become the team manager of the team where Soren was in, where Flame was in, right? And you know, we had some pretty good times after taking that team. You know, we made it to #1 with the team, had really good results. It was super good vibe in the team, at least I thought it was. he may correct that, I don't know. And at some point, like becoming the team manager for the team, you obviously have to like interact more and more with people individually. So when it came to interact with him and have, you know, talks and one-to-ones and feedbacks and shit like that, you know, I rarely wanted to talk too much business stuff. I really wanted to know the person, you know, get to geek out on different shit. So I eventually understood that he's like a super Blizzard geek like I was, and he was playing, I think he was playing a private server at the time, although I'm not sure. He was playing a lot of private servers, and when it came to WoW, he was like super hyped out about Legion. He said that he wants to really play Legion, and still was like, hey man, I want to play Legion too. I've been playing non-stop ever since. Like, oh, we hit it off.
Prior to that, I actually asked him, hey man, can you help me build a streaming PC? I want to stream at 1080p 60 FPS, right? That was my goal at the time. That's how eventually I got my PC that I first started to do YouTube videos with on our other channel you might already know of. So he helped me out, and then basically he knew that I was interested in streaming and doing, you know, like gaming content, stuff like that. It was mostly as a hobby for me at the time, right? And then we just started talking one day. It's like, hey, how about we start doing YouTube videos together? And he told me that he had the Marcelian Online channel. He had it for years, but he stopped doing proper videos for him because whatever happens, if he wants to tell you about that story, then maybe that's a story for another time. We sat down, we talked, we established a plan, and I was going to be a part of the Marcelian Online, you know, brand, so to speak, and we would build this thing together by making Heroes of the Storm videos, mostly guides, since guides are usually a good way to start a YouTube channel, which he might or might not have mentioned, because they're basically utility type videos that people usually search for pretty often, and the how-tos type videos usually get found out a little bit easier than, you know, just random talks like we're having right now.
And I don't know exactly how the discussion on YouTube was. Like, I know I really wanted to do YouTube again because I was starting to not feel as much the job I was in. Mind you, I really love my job and I really love my team. But some changes, like political changes occurred within the company that slowly started to piss me off, and I really didn't feel like I belong anymore. And a lot of the people also like leaving and promoting and stuff like that. So I really wanted to do YouTube once again because I had the channel there, it was dormant. It had like, I don't know, 4K subscribers still. A lot of people obviously left the channel, you know, subscribers and stuff, but I really wanted to do something with it. And during that time, Heroes of the Storm was kind of a, I wouldn't say big thing, but it was super fresh and it was super fun, especially for us Blizzard geeks who, you know, we enjoyed a universe with all of the Blizzard characters and heroes and whatnot. He was playing some Heroes of the Storm. I was playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm during that time. So one thing led to another. I believe like at the close to the holiday season of 2016, I told him, hey man, listen, are you interested in doing some YouTube shit? Here's how it goes. I have this channel. It was World of Warcraft oriented. I think we can make a quick and smooth transition to Heroes of the Storm. It's basically, you know, a lot of the Warcraft heroes over there. We can make guides for, you know, a lot of heroes, but we need to play a lot. We need to have the schedule, and I have this plan, and this was all bombastic.
And we eventually ended up doing Heroes of the Storm videos. It was really fun. Like, I remember I was being so excited when our first video got to 100 views in like a week or something like that. I don't remember. How long did it take, man? I don't remember. 100 views, like, oh man, look at that, 100 people are watching our videos. Welcome to Marcelian Flames Heroes of the Storm 6 Minutes Guide. Today we'll be taking a look at Diablo, the Lord of Terror. Diablo is a beefy tank equipped with passive resistances and a toolkit allowing him to set up kills for his team. That was really, really cool, and they started, you know, increasing, but Heroes of the Storm never really took off for us. And maybe that's a story for another time, but eventually we transitioned into WoW. We came back at in Legion, World of Warcraft basically is what I'm talking about. You might already be familiar with it.
We said, okay, let's start it off. And I remember the date, it was the 28th of January 2017 when we said, okay, we're going to kick it off. And I know we worked on a couple of videos up until then, right? So we started off resurrecting Marcelian Online, the former WoW channel, with Heroes of the Storm content. And we said, hey man, we're gonna do a guide every week. I think we have enough time to like play and research and upload and stuff. Of course, we missed a couple of dates because, you know, work got in the way. But we did this Heroes of the Storm, and it kind of got a little bit of traction. But the thing is, the game wasn't that popular just yet, and we put into it a lot of work and the results were just not coming. So we did that for I think almost 9 months or something, like almost the whole of 2017 we did Heroes of the Storm guides and streams and stuff like that. So after really working hard and putting a lot of guides and streams on Heroes of the Storm, I think in the autumn of 2017, I told them, listen man, this thing ain't working. If like we really want to develop this, we need to go back to its roots. I strongly believe that, you know, we gained a couple of new subscribers. I don't know, I think we gained 1K, maybe 2K max subscribers who are really into Heroes of the Storm, but it didn't really match the effort we will put it in, right? So and we kind of like both decided that, hey man, we need to make this work and eventually possibly, I don't know, turn it into a career of some sort. So I told him, okay, fuck it, just finish up your Heroes of the Storm plan. He had a couple of more things to do, like with a video series on Heroes of the Storm that he was doing specifically. And I said, okay, we're gonna focus on World of Warcraft.
We went back to World of Warcraft later on. I think after about a year. I think it was the BlizzCon event in 2017 when we decided, okay, after this BlizzCon we're gonna start doing WoW videos. And we scheduled them, and we had a couple of weeks after, or a month, I think, after BlizzCon, we started to make WoW videos. That was back then. That was back in the Legion expansion. And ever since then, it's pretty much history.
The rest is history from there, I would say, because
I came into this whole thing as almost clueless. I didn't know much. I did a YouTube video on one of my old channels back in university, but I never really envisioned doing this for a long time. I also tried to do YouTube videos with another friend of mine, who he shall rename nameless, but you probably know who you are, motherfucker. But it never took off there as well. We weren't fully dedicated. We weren't fully aware of how much effort and time and dedication we needed to put into it. Neither of us were ready for that. But once Marcelian brought the idea up, and I was like, okay, fuck it, let's do it. I was at a job that I didn't particularly like, and I don't know if he liked it either. I don't think so. But neither of us wanted to work for, you know, the man. We wanted to have our own thing. We wanted to be our own bosses. I eventually wanted to build my own business, so to speak. I didn't really know. I had a couple of ideas as what my business could be, but I was still in the mindset like, okay, I need to work. I need to save up some money. I need to research, learn whatever, and then try to see if I can make it on my own, right? That was a plan that I envisioned it would take me about 5 to 10 years to make, but Marcelian came with the YouTube idea, which was really cool.
That was really important because we decided that right at the beginning of the Battle for Azeroth hype, because if you remember, there was a lot of Battle for Azeroth hype after they announced it at BlizzCon. Of course, we did the BlizzCon reactions. You know, I did a lot of PvP stuff, PvP videos with Sub Rogue and Red Paladin and Demon Hunter. A lot of good shit, I'd say. Like for that time, nobody was doing arena montages as they used to, and you know, I got a good word with Warcraft movies. You know, it was pretty cool, but again, it didn't really get that much traction. It did get more traction than the Heroes of the Storm stuff, right? He was still working a lot, I was still working a lot, but in 2017, this was in 2018 at the beginning. So I quit my job because I started an Amazon business with my brother-in-law, which brought some food on the table for almost the entirety of 2018. But the real break was when I got access to the Battle for Azeroth beta, or I think it was alpha at the beginning and then beta. And I was putting a lot of like Battle for Azeroth footage, although the expansion was not released. Mind you, I think it was in February or March of 2018. I told Flame, hey man, here's the drill. You obviously don't have a lot of time to play the game. How about you do this series, this weekly WoW news series, and we could name it On Cooldown. And I made a logo and an animation, and it was really good. And I told him, hey man, I'm gonna make the first episode of it so you can give the drill on how this needs to work, and then you can do your own thing with it. Hi everybody, welcome to On Cooldown, your weekly news feed on the most important news for World of Warcraft. If you want to be up to date with WoW and lots of other stuff, feel free to subscribe. Now, Blizzard have stated earlier this week that support for 32-bit operating systems is no more, starting with Battle for Azeroth. So that's how like On Cooldown started. Basically, after I did the first On Cooldown solo, so he could see like the framework and how it needs to be. And after that, it was only him for a long while. So he purely made the World of Warcraft news stuff on Fridays, and from time to time he made Mage Tower guides. Like you have to be aware that this was still Legion and we still had the Mage Tower. I did a couple of Mage Towers as well, like the Assassination Rogue.
I knew that I was going in a little bit clueless, and I learned a lot from Marcelian. I'm still learning a lot from Marcelian. He has a lot of knowledge. I'm not sure how much he lets this on, but he studies a lot in the background, like a lot of basically back office type work, like how does a video work, how do you grow a channel, like what is the search engine optimization schedule structure that we will, you know, do for our channel, what is the strategy and stuff like that. He usually does all of these cool brainy stuff. I usually am just the one that well, I basically on our World of Warcraft channel, I do the play testing kind of stuff, right? That, you know, the grunt work, so to speak. So it's been an ongoing learning experience for me, from Marcelian. It's very, very humbling to realize how much I didn't know and how much I still don't know. But the only way to go is up, and if you're willing to learn, you can do great things. I wouldn't necessarily say that you can do anything, because I don't know if that's particularly true, but with enough hard work, dedication, and perseverance, you can achieve some pretty cool things, guys. So this is shortly mostly how I met Marcelian.
Fast forward a little bit into the summer of 2018. I did a lot of PvP stuff over there, you know, breakdown of three arena games. A lot of we got the PvP arena servers in Battle for Azeroth. You know, I tested a lot of shit there as Red Paladin. Then I started streaming a little bit after that summer, and also doing a lot of Battle for Azeroth PvP stuff. He was continuing on doing the On Cooldown weekly show. At some point I needed to stop it, and that was in November 2018, because I had a lot of piled up IRL issues, which I am going to get into at some point on this channel. I think it can be in line for a lot of people, so I really had to stop and focus on the IRL stuff, like, you know, a lot of nasty, hard things to have on your shoulders. I had to stop, okay? And I told him, hey man, you have to take over and do all of the content for a certain period of time until, you know, I can get back on my feet. And this was right about at the same time that the company where we both work for decided to close doors in our city, our country. And it was like pretty much good timing, because at the point where I decided to step off, he was like laid off with all of the people there, and obviously he had more time on the World of Warcraft thingy. So I've done my shit, you know, my IRL shit, and from January of 2019, this was his idea, right? So he said, hey man, this is not looking good. And it was not looking good. Like in January of 2019, we were looking at the channel statistics, and we were both basically jobless. I've sold my Amazon business with my brother-in-law, and the money I made from that I had to use to pay off a huge debt I got myself into. Again, we'll get to that at a certain different video. But I was like, no job, no income. He was the same, right? And this was his ideas, like, hey man, I think what will really work is just make class guides, okay? There's not a lot of people who make class guides. That's it, we have to do it. So he started doing that. I told him, okay, you can start doing class guides. I can start doing more on the editing side of things and make it really pump out. I can start working a lot more on, you know, titles and SEOs and stuff like that, because now we have both of our times can be dedicated 100% to the channel. And that mindset and that whole thing pretty much got us here, like not here, like on that channel, on the Marcelian online channel that you're probably aware of. If you're not, go check it out. So yeah, that's pretty much my side of the story. It will be really interesting to see how this all ends up. I'm really anxiously waiting for Flame to get on board and also record his shit.
It's pretty cool, pretty cool. You never know who you're gonna meet unless you open up and talk to a lot of people. So that's my advice for you guys. Now, hope you enjoyed this little talk about how we met, and
with all that, I'm thanking you so much for watching. Remember, this channel is called This Is Living. It's all about sharing experiences, talking freely, life philosophies, you know, positive empowerment on everything you can do to maybe help you out, and maybe you can learn some things or two about our experiences and other folks' experiences as well. Be sure to be subscribed, hit that notification bell. It really helps us a lot. And with that,
I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.